Welcome back. This month, I am Lindsay Arndt.
Jordan Ogren.
And we are here to share a little bit more about what O'Connor Connective has been up to since the last time you heard from us. And also, we will get to that digital tip. First, Jordan, why don't you tell us a couple of the events and activities that we've been able to participate in the last couple weeks?
It's been a busy few weeks, few months since the last time we recorded this. One of those events was the Schreiber Institute for Women's Leadership, Stories from Experience with Susan Garrett. One of the things that I took away from Susan's conversation was the importance of surrounding yourself with good people. As she shared, that's how she's gotten to where she's at.
Another event hosted by the Schreiber Institute for Women's Leadership was their annual Celebrate event. This was held at the Widener Center, and it was extra special for our team because we got to see our own Bridget O'Connor kind of pass the reins of being executive in residence for this organization to Karen Lansell of Schreiber Foods. Great opportunity for this organization to continue to grow, and we're excited to see what happens in the next year. But plan to be there. It's a great event. Over 300 people attended, and we're just looking forward to seeing what happens next year.
And even if you're a man, you can attend. I enjoyed it. I've been there both years, and it's been a very insightful both the keynotes, but just the conversation that happens around it. In a final event, even though we were to a lot of events, but the last event we'll share was the New North Summit put on by New North, which had so many great speakers, Leroy Butler, the Lambeau Leap. But one key idea or thought that many of the speakers touched on was being the yes to those who have constantly received no's, or just helping those who haven't felt seen, help them be seen. So that was a really unique takeaway that I had and our team had, and it was just great to see partners and other community advocates at that event. But enough about events, Lindsay. We've had some cool things going on here at O'Connor Connect.
Yes, we've said yes to 2 new employees. We are really excited to welcome Nina and Gabby to our team in the last month, and you'll be able to learn more about them as you read on the newsletter, but it's great to see the growth. It's great to, again, be involved in the community, and we're excited to see how our new team can continue to influence and support those around us.
And I lied. One final event before we get into the digital tip was this experience inbound that I went to recently at Lambeau Field that had tons of great speakers on marketing, content, SEO, AI. And I wanted to just share one takeaway that leads into the digital tip, and that's how SEO is changing the future with AI, but just in general of how people consume and find their information. And one of those takeaways is that your digital footprint, or what you have online, is important, so AI can either source that or use that as it answers someone and then uses your content as the source that someone can go deeper. This digital tip that we want to share is all about digital footprint, what it is, why it matters, and how you can improve yours.
So Jordan, what is digital footprint? Can you tell us a little bit more on that? Exactly what does it entail?
A digital footprint is another way of just saying your digital presence. So there's 2 ways that comes up, both active and passive. Active is all the stuff you as a company put out online, whether that's your website, blogs, social media posts, all of those things that you own, control, and put out. Passive digital footprint is more of the things that your customers or others put out, whether that's reviews, Yelp comments, or in general comments on your social media posts that you don't control, but others will see that, and it does influence their perception of you as a brand.
So why your digital footprint matters, one thing you want to do is to enhance your brand visibility and reach. And one way that you can do that is through SEO. Make sure that the content on your website is being found by the right people. Make sure your keywords attract your audience that you're trying to bring to your site. Just because the higher visibility can lead to increased traffic and customer acquisition, and hopefully, some return on investment there. Another thing too is your social media presence. Make sure that you're staying active and engaged with those who are seeking content on that channel. Comment on your comments. Make sure you're showing what you're doing, but also be mindful that you're using the right social media channels for your business and your organization. We shared that earlier. You don't want to do them all. Make sure you find the right ones that are for you and utilize them to their fullest potential.
Another benefit through all of that you just talked about, the content and the social media posts, you start to build trust and credibility. I don't know about you, but I've been in situations where I've tried to research something online and I was unable to find it, or I couldn't find hours, and that just doesn't lead to trust or credibility, as I'm kind of questioning, are they even a real business, or who are they? So by putting things out online, showing customer testimonials, so both active and passive, you start to just build more trust and credibility with those you hope to serve.
Kind of like if you go to a brick and mortar store. If you walk in and your first experience is not a delightful one, the chance of you going back isn't going to be positive. So if you have that same experience digitally, that's always going to work in your favor.
And another reason why it's so important is that you can use all the interactions you have with your customer or prospects on the digital front to personalize your marketing. So just a very clear and simple example is social media. You put out a post, it's an idea or it's something, and it gets lots of likes. You then know this is something that resonates with my audience, and I can now start to personalize their other content using those insights. Without that, you're kind of throwing darts in the dark.
One thing to consider too is people all get their content in different ways. Some people enjoy video, some people enjoy reading blogs, some people just like a headline scroll. So make sure that you have some interactive, engaging content that could cater to everybody's preference. So we have our newsletter, but we also introduce video. So we want to make sure that we're appealing to everyone who is looking to get the content that we're sharing.
And we also put it on social media. So we try to hit all of the places that our audience likes to consume content, because as Lindsay said, there's no one way that is the right way to consume.
Having a strong digital footprint helps separate you from the competitors. We've mentioned this earlier. You want to make sure that you stand out from the crowd. That elements like that with SEO and how you market yourself, they do that. Make sure that you share your mission, vision, values. People know exactly what they're getting from your product, business, or organization.
And a final reason why this is important is because going back to the passive digital footprint, people are going to put stuff out there about you, regardless if you want it or not. Final benefit is just risk management, or another way of saying you get to own your digital story. Because if you're not on digital and you're unable to either comment back or put out your own statement, then who's ever on digital reading stuff will just take those passive data points as truth, but it's likely not the truth. So by having yourself on digital, you can kind of own your story or present it in the way you want to hopefully help position your company in the best light.
And if you're curious about how you can improve your digital footprint, send us a question, send us an email, and we'd be happy to kind of give you some further guidance of how you can do that. Thank you for joining us for another extended edition of The Digital Tip. We appreciate you watching and for following along.